There we go. There we go. Now, first lesson will be on derivatives. I believe I am streaming. No, I am not. In case any fellow students right here want to join and learn. Alright, basically, right now this lesson is on derivatives. Now, derivatives, basically what it is the instantaneous slope of any curve, any line, whatever. So let's say this point is 0, 2. You want to find the slope right here. Well, to find that, you would need to find the derivative. Now, derivatives are the instantaneous slope of any curve, any equation. Now, this would require you, viewer, to learn geometry, algebra 1 and 2. Now, with that aside, we're going to learn about derivatives. Derivatives are the instantaneous slope of any given graph. Let's say we have x squared. It's going to look like this. Now the derivative is going to be the slope at any point on this graph. So right now we're going to apply one of the rules. The rules is x to the n power. The derivative will be n times x to the power of n minus 1. That's the power rule, basic power rule. That's how we find the derivative of any given graph. So the derivative would be 2x. Now, this graph right here is going to show the slopes of this graph. So it's going to look something like this. So how you're going to read it is going to be from negative to positive. That's true, because look, it's going negative, 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 negative. It's going down. The graph is going down. And then right here it reaches 0. That's where it crosses the y-axis. And then it's going positive. That's where it crosses the y-axis into the positive zone. Now, derivatives. Let's say you have an equation like 2x to the third power plus 3x. Now, the derivative, you would have to use the power rule. So it's x to the n, the derivative is going to be n times x to the n minus 1 power. Now, the derivative of this, so it's going to be 2 times 3 times x. So we move n down to the n minus 1 power. So 3 minus 1 plus 3 times the power, which is always 1. When it's not shown, it's always 1, times x. So since it is 1, it's going to be 1 minus 1. So that's going to be 0. So x to the 0 power. And anything to the 0 power is just going to be 1. So it's 3. I know I skipped some steps, but you get me. So it's going to be 6x to the second power plus 3. Let's look at another example of the power rule. Let's say you have x to the 5th power minus x to the second power plus x. Now, here you would use the power rule. The n goes down. So it's going to be 5x, and then you're going to subtract by 1 to the power of 4, minus, move the n down, 2x, subtract 1, so it's going to be to the power of 1, plus x to the power of 1, you're going to move it down, you're going to subtract 1, so it's just going to be 1. 1 times 1 is 1. Anything to the 0 power is going to be 1. Now, what if you have a constant? What if you have x minus 3? Now, the derivative of that, now it would just be 1. Any slope, the slope of any constant is just going to be 0. It's just going to be 0. Because it's going to be a flat line. It's going to be horizontal and it's going to be 0. On the graph, it's going to show like it's horizontal. So let's say on the graph you plotted the point 3 and the slope is 0. Since the derivative is the instantaneous slope at that point, when you put this, when you find the derivative of that, the slope, it's always going to be 0. Now this does not apply when that constant is multiplying with a variable. The variable is going to turn into the derivative, so it's going to be 3. That's going to be the derivative because it's multiplying with the constant. It's not going to be the derivative itself. It's going to be the thing attached to the derivative. So let's say x to the 3rd power. You're going to apply the power rule to this only because this is a constant. It's only multiplying. Now, later we will discuss other types of rules, but now this is the basic idea on derivatives.